into the building, and it looks like it has, the building has an air conditioning flue on it, and what looks like a small mast on the right side corner of the building with a vent all the way around the N6TGQ.
Thanks, Bob. Bob, you're scratchy and a little bit weak. I don't know if that's you or the repeater. I think we might be having some issues from that side of town. Before I go on, let me ask folks if they have an opinion about that. Carol, were you able to copy Bob? Okay, and actually you're a little bit scratchy too. All right, well, it's not just me, but we can manage. Let's keep going. Joel, AI6DG, comments on NR6H's picture.
Yes, excellent reception. Anders, your audio might be a little hot, certainly hot compared to the others I've heard so far tonight. Yeah, so we're at some radio installation site. We're on a ridge overlooking the valley. And yeah, I would agree, California, from the look of the valley oak and the brown grass, that looks like California. And in fact, from the clouds, I would guess this was taken today, maybe, or yesterday. Yesterday, there we go. That makes more sense, but the storm came through today, yesterday. Recent, let's put it at that. Yeah, maybe a propane tank off on the extreme. It looks like it's a Generac generator. From what, that shape and where the print is, even though I can't read it, looks like a Generac. Good-sized tower. I don't know, room 45 or bigger style. I don't know if it actually is or not. Big dish just at the extreme upper top. A beam pointing off to the right, kind of in the upper third. Looks like it's an old shipping container. Coax, yeah, lots of thick coax, probably hardline coming out and going up. I don't understand why that ductwork. Yeah, so on the side of the room or container or vault or whatever you want to call it, facing us, there's a big duct coming out and going up and over the top of the unit, but that doesn't quite make sense. Yeah, that's weird. I'm wondering if this is one of the recent problem repeater sites. Maybe Zamora, but the first question is which repeater? K6NA or NR6A or who, where, what? Yeah, more info. That's usually the conclusion on all of these. Back to net, AI6DG.
AI6DG, N6QNJ, calling on KP4MD for her comment.
Okay, yeah, this is KP4MD. Got the picture pretty good. Actually, I have to apologize for everybody on YouTube. I was about 5 minutes late on starting the live stream, but I want to say hi out there to Craig, WP2N, who's watching on YouTube Live. And I'm guessing, since I know that Anders, you were doing some work together with the K6IS repeater. This may be one of the repeater sites for K6IS, and I don't know. I'm guessing maybe it's the one up on Carpenter Hill. It kind of looks. I've driven up to Carpenter Hill and got a look over the valley. It kind of looks similar to that location there. Maybe looking out in the direction of El Dorado Hills. This is what I'm going to get. That's my guess. I might be completely wrong. But back to Nets, KP4MD.
Thanks, Carol. This is N6QNJ. Well, I have real good copy. The sky's beautiful. It almost looks like it's photoshopped. I'm guessing within the shipping container there's a generator that runs this system, and that the Generac generator is the backup generator. and that's why there's the venting, I think, coming out. But I'm very interested to hear where this is, what it is, and how it's powered. Anders, NR6H.
Well, you were sniffing around the right location there a few times. This is from just a few hours ago, taken from the repeater site. So this is west of the valley. This is the K6IS West repeater site. So not only K6IS is in there, there's also some N6ICW and some commercial radio equipment in that little container there. It's actually not a container. I don't think it had a metal structure inside. It was all wooden material, so I think it's built on site pretty much, but it is the size of a shipping container. And the ducting on top, not exactly sure why they built it that way, but there is an AC unit on one of the walls, and then the ducting goes around, and there's an outlet on the other side. So I imagine that they just made it that way so that you had cold air coming in from two sides, basically cooling the inside a little better. Yeah, I was up there with Chris and N6ICW today and tried to figure out why the K6IS West repeater is offline from a few weeks back. And what we found was that the power supply was dead, so nothing was coming out of the power supply, although it was warm, so that means that the transformer is still, at least the primary winding on the transformer is still alive, and the fuses going into it is okay. So it is now in my garage, and I'll take a look at it this weekend and see what we can do with it, if we can get it back to life or not. But what I figured was interesting with this picture is that if anyone ever looked at the K6IS homepage, you will see a picture under the repeater, about the repeater. This is actually the tower. So under the text under the picture on the K6IS website, it says K6IS R East repeater antenna array, which is completely wrong, because this is the K6IS West antenna array. So the Yagi, you can see the lowest mounted Yagi pointing right out of the tower there. That's actually the Yagi that points in our direction and covers the valley with the K6IS West system. So that's what it is. So figured it was interesting. Hope that it came through okay. Sounds like it. And we had a beautiful day up there, beautiful view, and we managed to avoid the rain as long as we were up on the hill. KN6QNJ and NR6H, back to you.
Thanks, Anders. Well, I was really wrong about the power supply. I guess it does look like air-conditioned ducting. Is the Generac the only source of power then? What powers the unit?
No, there is commercial. There is grid power going to the site. The Generac starts up automatically if the power goes down. So that's kind of a luxury that we have actually a backed up power system up here. So it's a really good site, actually. It's I'd say close to 2,000 feet up and has a fantastic view across the valley. And with that Yagi pointing in our direction, it really covers Sacramento very, very well. So it's a great site, and with both commercial and backup power like this, it's kind of a luxury to have. So good site. Back to you.
Thanks, NR6H, KN6QNJ. Any other questions for Anders before we move to Neil?
Yeah, KL7HQ. Where exactly is this located?
This is located, if you draw a pretty straight line west going from Zamora, and you have to obviously get up in the mountain range, so it's quite far from Zamora itself, but it is due west from Zamora up on the ridge.
Thank you very much.
AI60.
Joel, go ahead.
So I've only actually used K6IS West once, and this is when I was driving up the valley. So I started in Sacramento and started driving north, and finally got out of range of east and switched to west and continued the conversation I was in on west, and was able to talk for quite a ways. I don't think, I don't know, maybe it's at least halfway to Chico. And so the coverage here doesn't match what you said about that beam pointed towards Sacramento. You sure that's not just the link back to Folsom?
No, that is the antenna. That is the only antenna for this repeater. It's both receive and transmit, and it is pointing towards Sacramento. So I guess it has a side lobe going up towards Chico. That could be true, but and also Zamora is kind of northwest-ish of Sacramento, so it's pointing. The direction of that antenna, I would say, is mostly west, but slightly south. So that is what's there, and there isn't much else. So that is really what's there. The other repeater up here is the N6 ICW. His beam is pointing not quite in the same direction, and I have to look at the pictures I took to figure out exactly where he's pointing. But yeah, that is the main antenna. That is all there is, really. So maybe a side lobe that you were using when you were up in Chico.
Interesting. It's also, what is it, 4 elements, so it's not super directional, but it sounds like it's not pointed directly at the repeater. It's kind of in the general direction and a compromise. Anyway, thanks for that. Yeah, very interesting. Back to Net AI6DG.
Thanks, Anders and Joel, NR6H and AI6DG, KN6QNJ calling on Neil, KL7HQR. You ready to transmit?
Roger, we're going to give it a try. The last time I could not make it, so let's see. This could be PD120.
general topic of this, Neil. Bob, N6PGQ, go ahead and comment.
Well, I have the same general idea. looks like some neighbor or Neil has a really, really fancy Halloween set of decorations out in front of the house with some, looks like inflatable characters in the front and somebody way back in the shadows and a skeleton up in the upper left corner. Very topical, N6PGQ.
Joel, AI6DG.
So the transmission started, I turned around and was working on other things in the room and eventually turned back around and did kind of a, yeah, that's definitely Halloween, and that's a lot of inflatables. Yep, definitely a theme. And I see a couple of, I see a duplicate of the pumpkins, a witch, well, a couple of witches, a scary witch, a happy witch, a skeleton with a pumpkin head, a ghost, a mummy. I don't know what that big blue thing in the background is. Is that supposed to be death? But then it looks like we've got like a sled or a carriage with a scary skeleton jester driving it, and a I don't know, a Beetlejuice playing the organ, maybe. I'm wondering if the kids, when they say trick or treat at the door, can be heard over the sound of all the fans blowing to keep all of these things inflated. Back to net, yeah, 6DG. Oh, and pretty good reception, yes. Not many pops. Back to net.
Thanks, Joel. I do, you know, I've met you, Neil, a few times, and I think you're taller than what I see in the picture here. So I'm guessing the skeleton with the pumpkin head is not you. Carol, KP4MD.
Yeah, this is KP4MD. Your picture came over very well. You can see on the live stream, very vivid colors. Couldn't even hardly pick out any pixel pops, but very good picture for this holiday that we just passed 2 days ago. Thank you. It's KP4MD.
KP4MD, this is KN6QNJ. Also, I want to say good evening to Alf and Craig. WP2N is Craig and KN6PRD. Thanks for joining us on YouTube as we stream this. I don't have much more to add. The picture came through really well. It's very colorful, and it looks like a lot of fun. Neil, KL7HQR, what do you say, sir?
This is KL7HQR. Well, I'm really glad at least to know that the picture went out okay, because of the failures that we've had lately. Well, what I did here to fix that is I'm not watching the YouTube, and I'm going to be starting have another laptop here separately to watch the YouTube. But it is I walk about 10, 12,000 steps a day, about 4 miles a day. And on my walkings around the other day, I went by this house, and the colors were so beautiful. And it was early in the morning, and I decided to take a picture, and I sent it in just primarily to see if the colors, the sharpness of the colors would come through. So that's basically it. No, it was not me in the center there. All right. Before I let it go, I just want to let you guys know that I'll be gone for about 3 weeks. I leave Saturday and be aboard a ship going to Europe and then doing a transatlantic back. But I will be trying to monitor the SSTV Net aboard ship as much as I can. We did that on an Alaska trip, and it worked very well. So I'll be looking forward to it. So keep an eye out for me. Back to Net.
All right, that trip sounds amazing. Thanks, KL7HQR. Bob, it's your turn to transmit a photo, N6PGQ.
Okay, well, hopefully this works a little better. This should be PD 120 N6PGQ.
N6PGQ. I got a good copy, although it does have a lot of light-colored pixel pops throughout. Almost looks like it's a very light snow on my copy. Joel, AI6DG, your turn to comment first.
I think this is Gordon West, but it looks like him, but he's not wearing a crazy shirt or jacket. He's not ringing a bell. He's not signing books. Oh, wait a minute, though. He's got a crazy-looking tie. So, yeah, I think that's Gordon West, but I'm not sure where. I would assume, though, at Pacificon. I know he did some private, semi-private events outside of the normal thing. Well, I guess that is the normal stuff he does, but anyway. Yeah, story. Back to net, AI6DG.
Thanks, Joel. Carol, KP4MD.
Yeah, this is KP4MD. Really good, crisp picture. A few light pixel pops over the dark background. Not a problem with that. But a very clear view of Gordon West, his WB6NOA. He gave a talk. I guess he gave the Breakfast with Gordo on Saturday. Was it Saturday morning? And then he gave his. He usually gives a talk to the teachers of the ham radio instructors. That might have been part of that, but very good. Nice clear picture, and I'm guessing this is from Pacificon as well. This is KP4MD.
Thanks, Carol. And I met him for the first time at Pacificon, and he autographed a card for me because I already had his book, and I didn't have the book with me. A nice guy. Anders, NR6H, comments on this photo.
I did receive it. Quite a lot of pops, though, so not the best reception. Picture is sharp, though, so colors in the picture are fine, but a lot of pixel pops across the whole image. I guess I'm the only one that has no relation to Gordon West. I have never read any of his books. I've never watched any of his videos. And never really seen him other than at Pacificon a few weeks ago. I walked by where he was sitting and recognized him from some picture somewhere and figured it was him. But other than that, I really have no relation to this guy. I guess I'm the only ham in this community that doesn't really know anything about him. But sounds like a nice guy. N6NA, NR6H.
Thanks, Anders. Neo KL7HQR. Are you friends with Gordo?
It's KL7HQR. No, I'm not. So I'm the second ham in a group that have no knowledge of him whatsoever. And but that is no problem because that is not him. I can guarantee you that is Thomas Alva Edison reincarnate. So that's the first thing I saw. Not knowing him, the first thing I saw, it looked like a very modern version of Edison. But good picture. The picture very sharp. The pops are all over the place. I noticed, like it was mentioned before, both Bob and Carol, much weaker signal into the repeater as normal. However, Bob, when he commented on my picture earlier, he came in just like as strong as he normally does. But right now it's a little bit weaker again for some reason. Back to that.
Thanks, Neil. Bob, N6PGQ, tell us what we're looking at, please.
Okay, well, I noticed that I turned the microphone volume down a little bit. Hopefully this helps. Been moving things around in the shack. Yeah, Carol's right. This is Gordon West at Pacificon a little while ago, talking to us in his session called Breakfast with Gordo. And unfortunately, he didn't bring all of his toys and visual aids that he usually did, like his smoking pickle and those kind of things. But it was interesting, and there he is in the flesh. And the next chance you'll probably have to see him is out in the desert and that's coming up at the start of next year. N6PGQ.
Thanks, Bob. Any questions for Bob and his connection to WB6NOA?
Scale 7 HQR, and just for the sake of myself and Anders, can anybody tell us a little bit about this gentleman?
Well, he writes a set of books for exam prep for tech, general, and extra license exams, and so that's what he's known for. And I think he also does a regular 40-meter check-in during the week. So he has a really good following, and the style of his books is more accessible for people like me than the ARRL manuals, which are very engineering-oriented. So between the two, it was very helpful. That's my own personal experience. I don't know him, but I just met him for the first time at Pacificon. Anyone else want to comment?
AI6DG.
Also is on the broadcast Ham Nation, that's a webcast, and has been a fixture in Southern California for an awful long time. Does a lot of emergency communication, and like everyone said, he's writing the ham study books, or at least editing them, and he's an interesting character. Like you say, this is about the most drug GQ.
60G.
I guess I call him a goodwill ambassador for ham radio, but a heavy emphasis on the getting new hams into the hobby with the training book. But he's just puts on quite a show, and especially when you get him and Bob Hale together. Bob Hale hasn't been at Pacificon the last couple of years, so I'm not sure what happened. Maybe we won't be seeing him anymore, or as often anyway. But he's been around forever. So it's definitely a staple of ham radio on the West Coast and at Pacificon. Back to Net CI6TG.
Thanks, Joel. Also, we have a new YouTube watcher, Wilson, N6EMF. Good evening, Wilson.
And KP4MD has a comment.
Carol, go ahead.
Yes, looks like Bill is also watching, Bill Shockness. Actually, he's one of our new members. And he mentions that Gordon West played a really cool audio clip of CW Aurora Bounce. That's N6 Whiskey Lima Mike. I wanted to say my take on Gordon West is he's very popular among newbies. I guess he's been into education, doing license preparation books of his own with a particular flair for adding a little bit of comedy in there. Very highly motivated. I mean, he's just like bubbly personality, and he's just going a mile a minute, which is awesome. I mean, it really grabs your attention and it holds it. He has a way of doing that with the way he speaks, and entertaining at the same time. So he's got a very devoted following among newcomers. So that's he on the Ham Nation. They do a podcast. They used to do it with the Twit network, but now they're doing it with the Ham Radio Crash Course. He gets together with those other folks on there, and he is just a real ham. He's got the personality to do it. A great personality. Thank you, Bax KP4MD.
Thanks, Carol. KB4MD, KN6QNJ. Joel, AI6DG. Are you ready to send a photo?
PD120.
AI6DG, KN6QNJ. Carol, you're first to comment, KP4MD.
Okay, yeah, this is KP4MD. Really nice picture. Very little, I hardly see any pixel pops at all. A few kind of wavy lines here and there. Probably just some fading. I'm getting some multipath fading on my reception here. It's probably causing that. Interesting picture. Look 4 strips of LED lights connected to what looks like a wall wart, and a number of other adapters. There's another wall wart on the left, and some kind of an extension cord, white one in the background. I don't know what this has to do with, but maybe something you did. I'm looking at that. See that one wall wart that goes into an adapter. It looks like you maybe put together to feed 4 strips of LED lights. Okay. So back to net control. It's KP4MD.
KP4MD, KN6QNJ. This looks like a QRM generator. I'm sure that's what Joel's building. Anders, N6NA.
Yeah, I'm seeing a good picture. First of all, good reception. Just a few pops here and there, but nothing major. We're looking at the corner of maybe a kitchen counter. Looks like that kind of material, wooden, or yeah, at least it wants to look like wood, but it may be wood even, but looks like a corner of a kitchen, I would say. There's something up in the corner there that may be the edge of a microwave or something like, or maybe a toaster oven or something like that. That's my feel. But yeah, we're looking at some LED strips. There are 20 plus LEDs on each one times 4, so that's at least 80. So I think we're under feeding this with current. We need more current than that little wall wart up there. That feels like it's too small, especially if those strips are longer than they appear. They end at the left side of the image. I don't know how much further they go. If they go any further, I would want more current in this project here. Not sure what the other wall wart is for. That looks exactly like the wall wart that comes with a Raspberry with the switch at the end there. That's exactly what I have on all the Raspberries I have. They were shipped with that exact same wall wart there. So not sure what that is. Those little adapters are kind of fun, easy to use for when you want to connect a battery terminal into just flying leads. So that's good. And there's an extra spool of wire up in the corner there, and then a lethal wire. The white one is an electrical cord there that ends in nothing, it appears, or a blur, or maybe that's going into the spades of that little tiny wall wart there. That would be non-UL, I would say. So not per code, but maybe code is not the thing here. Maybe it is that QRM generator. We will learn soon. NR6H, back to nets.
NR6H, KN6QNJ, KL7HQR. Comments?
KL7HQR, well, very little to say as far as the picture. Very, very good copy, beautiful, sharp pictures. And this looks a lot like the end result of the beginning of my wiring in my AM station here after I finished my high-level wire management process to get everything look as nice and neat. But no, it looks like the white wire goes around and it could go back. I wonder if that second, there's a red wire and there is the plug there that could be plugged into the white wire, which is not connected anywhere. You know, the AC is not connected, but I don't know. It looks like there is another adapter that is unconnected right in the middle of the picture, similar to the one that is feeding out the 4 strips there. And it it looks like the wall and the left side would be connected to that power distribution adapter, if that I can call that. Good picture, though. Very good picture. Back to net.
Thanks, Neil. Bob, N6PGQ.
No, I don't have much more to add. Everybody seems to have gotten most of it. As the picture moved down the screen, the first thing I thought of with the spool that's on the right was that it was one of the Harbor Freight magnetic taillights for a trailer, because it had the box below it, and then it looked like it might be a reflector, but it turned out not to be, and it's going to be interesting to see what the project is for. Good copy, not a lot of pixel pops here in 6PGQ.
Thanks. Joel, you working on a workbench lighting or something?
This is bits and pieces out of which I'll figure out how to add LED lights, under-counter LED lights into the kitchen. The 4 strips at the bottom are, I picked up a bunch of those strips at Pacificon with the idea of using them for a couple of projects. An aquarium light for one aquarium that the lights have gone out on, and to add in the kitchen under the cabinets. And yeah, so they're 12 volts. Each strip is 12 volts. They're cascadable, and so there's a little solder pad on each end of them. And they came with those short little wires, and I looked around and found a little 12-volt 1 amp supply. That's the right power supply, the black one that's right next to the coil, a red wire. And it actually, I don't know if it came with, or another power supply I found came with a little plug adapter. So these 12-volt supplies, wallboards, are made by probably the millions for all kinds of things, but in particular in the security industry. And they frequently come with little adapters that plug into the end and have a terminal strip on them. So that's what that little thing with the green on the right is, that all the red wires on the strips are going to. There's another one of those kind of just to the left of center, because I have 2 supplies there. I've got a 1 amp that's actually on the right, and 2 amp on the left that I just picked up, which, yes, was originally marketed for Raspberry Pi, but I'm after it because it's got the power switch on it, which I had no idea those things existed, so obviously I need to dig into Raspberry Pis more often. And I'm sure I can find a use for that, but the question is, do I want to switch the DC or the AC? Because if I'm switching DC, that means the AC side's on all the time, which means I have a potential off source on all the time. Thus, the white cable on the right, that, yes, is actually just stripped wire kind of wound around the twines, the prongs of that power supply on the right, because this is just a test. It's definitely not UL and definitely not intended to be left that way, but just a test to make sure. But I could do something like that, maybe wire the white cable to a socket and plug the power supply into that, and then switch it on the AC side. Anyway, things to try. Oh, and one other thing to mention is on the extreme lower right of the picture, you'll see a couple of white things with nails through them. I think those are intended... No, just a moment. I think those are intended for construction to attach Remix cable, the AC three conductor, to studs. But what I'm going to use them for is to attach the strips to the underside of the cabinet. It's just exactly the right width for them to fit into. The only thing I have to do is the nails are a little too long, so I got to cut off, I don't know, half an inch, quarter of an inch off of each of the nails, and then just hammer it into the underneath of the cabinet. Works perfect. Anyway, I'm forward to having lots of nice, bright white lights in the kitchen. Back to net AI6DG.
AI6DG, thanks, Joel. Carol, KP4MD, are you ready to transmit a photo?
Yes, I am, and thank you very much, Joel, for sharing your lighting project. Looks very good. I hope it's productive and doesn't cause too much QRM. This picture will be PD 120.
Are there any questions for Joel or Carol? Are you ready to transmit?
Going to transmit right now.
That's a cool picture, KP4MD. This is KN6QNJ. Anders, NR6H, your turn to comment.
Well, this is obviously the kit we all got at the what's it called, the fun store for Halloween. Yeah, what we all looked like every day. I guess. Yeah, this is a fun trend right now. There's a lot of these around with the different. I haven't seen the ham radio guy before, but I've seen computer users, and I've seen various variations on this theme. But this is a funny one, definitely, and yeah. Spot on, I would say. I have all of that. Maybe not the RSID lanyard. I gotta get that one, but I need to fit this image 100%. That's my life goal here. So, NR6H back to net.
NR6H, thanks. Neil, KL7HQR.
KL7HQR, very good copy. And since the picture is a little fuzzy on the face, it could be a picture of me if I had lost quite a few pounds. But no, I have not seen this before. And I don't have the RSID and I don't have the Buffang, but I have everything else. So it was a very good copy. Very bright colors, a few spots on lines of interference up on top, but the bottom part is very, very sharp. Thank you. Back to net, KL7H2.
Thanks, Neil. Bob, N6PGQ.
Well, everybody's said everything that I could see. Good quality, not very many pixel pops, few in the white area. if the Halloween stores are still open and this isn't a Photoshop job, should probably go and see if there's an extra one of those or two, N6 PGQ.
Thanks, Bob. Joel, AI6DG.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of these. Did someone do a template somewhere to put up a website, or did Spirit Stores actually make a joke website where you could make your own of these? Because I've seen a bunch of them with different pictures on the right, and then someone puts in a joke text on the left. So memes, lots of memes of this on various variations. So, okay, what do I have? I don't have the vest. I don't have the Bofang. I don't have cargo shorts. Cargo shorts. Do I have any cargo shorts? Maybe, I don't know, and I'm not an Aries, so. But I'm sure I could find a variation on the theme, and be just as hammy. Back to net AI6DG.
Thanks, Joel. AI6DG, K6QNJ. I hate to say that I have all that equipment, and that could look like me in 10 years, but I'm not going to say that. Carol, KP4MD, is this a real thing?
Okay, yeah, this is KP4MD. Somebody photoshopped this. I don't know if there's a meme generator for this or not, but I know exactly who that person is. That's Greg Crookwood, KG6SJT from Davis. He was the section emergency coordinator for Sacramento Valley up until earlier this year. Now he's assistant SEC. And somebody had a picture of him and put this together and posted it, and it has gone viral. I've seen this picture with him on Facebook groups from all over the U.S. It's incredible, and I sent him actually an email with this picture asking if he knew about that, and he said yeah, he saw it also. He doesn't seem to be very particularly upset about it, but he has gone viral. That's all I can say. And yeah, it certainly strikes a chord with us ham operators to see somebody. I guess if they were to put out a costume like this, it would be a tribute to amateur radio, and as people aspire to do those things. Back to you, it's KP4MD.
KP4MD. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's very positive, and it's also funny. I can see why it went viral. Any other comments or questions about Carol's photo? I have one photo to send. I know we're getting a little late, but we can probably be done in 5 minutes or so. Any comments for Carol? Okay, I'm going to send picture PD120. Stand by. NR6H, you go first.
A beer dispenser. One tap for each flavor there, so that's awesome. Or it's your gym. It could be your home gym with the ropes in the back there, and you climb up to the roof and knock the bell. I think that's it. NR6H.
Thanks, Anders. Neil, KL7HQR.
KL7HQR. I agree with the idea of beer, but I think it's different. I think different levels of carbonation that goes, because the container in the back, a little bit yellow, that's where the real stuff is. And this is all to manage what is the proper combination of gases and anyway, you guys know I don't know what I'm talking about, so I have no idea. Curious about it. KL7H here.
KL7HQR, KN6QNJ. Bob, N6PGQ.
Boy, I have no idea. I don't know whether the cabling across the top is for like explosive protection or RF enclosures. It doesn't look small enough to be a Faraday cage. I'm going to be interested to know what this is. That's looks like testing lab, N6PGQ.
AI6DG.
Ah, cool setup, whatever it is. Nice piping. So you got a whole bunch of pipes coming across the top, and one by one they go down, and someone did a really nice job of making it nice and neat. So coming down, they go to, I don't know, maybe a pressure gauge? Oh, that's what we got. We got a pressure gauge before and after the valves in the middle, and then they come down, and I don't think they're hooked to anything. I think the yellow are caps to where something would hook into them. But, yeah, too neat for a laboratory test setup. So this must be an industrial setup of some kind. What industrially would need this many something valved? That's interesting. Okay, so let's look in the background. And there's just not enough detail. I don't know. Is that a big vat back there? The kind of, well, it's clean, whatever it is. Yeah, more info. Back to net AI6DG.
AI6DG. Carol, KP4MG.
Okay, yeah, this is KP4MD. First, I want to say Alf, KN6PRD says we should take the N6NA crew to a brewery. I don't think this is a brewery, but really impressive array. Bunch of stainless steel equipment there, and nice tubing going to, looks like pressure gauges, perhaps some flow meters as well, and in between those gauges on the top and below, it looks like there's what they call, not spigots, but an adjustment there where you can adjust the flow of whatever's going to come out the bottom. And down below, it looks like there's some pipes coming down from them. Okay, I have no idea what this is, but it looks very, very impressive, and somebody put a lot of work into putting this together. So thanks for sharing. Back to Nets, KP4MD.
Thanks, everybody. Well, following Neil's idea that we should try to show, stuff that we do, this is one of the things that I'm involved with. This is, you remember last week or the other week I showed you a testing bay for heavy-duty engines. This is actually a manifold that was handmade. It was beautifully made to pipe in calibration gases for when air emissions and greenhouse gases are tested. So there's NH3 and N2O and CO2, ammonia, nitrous oxide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, methane, and even purified air. And so this is a place that when people need to do calibration testing on certain equipment, they come get the gases they need, mix them if they need to, and That's what this is down in Riverside, KN6QNJ. Any other questions about this?
AI6DG.
Go ahead.
Is that an array of generators down below that we're seeing just the very tops of? Because that one, the red one on the left, kind of looks like a Honda. No, Honda? Yeah, Honda 2000 or 2200.
Very good observation, Joel. AI6DG, you really find the detail. Yeah, so those generators are regulated and they are subject to testing. So my agency tests everything from the big Class 8 trucks down to weed whackers and Honda 2000 or 2200 generators. So that's what those are, yes.
So I was wrong. It is a test laboratory setup and not industrial. Back to net AI6DG.
Well, it's industrial science. I'm not sure how to describe it. Other questions about this? All right, hearing none. This was a fun net tonight. We shared a lot of good pictures, and it was kind of fun. And we had good participation on YouTube. Thanks to all of the participants tonight on the SlowScan TV Net. Thanks for all of you who tuned in on YouTube. We hope to see you all again next Wednesday at 9 o'clock. The net is officially closed at 10:09 p.m. This is James, KN6QNJ, wishing all of you a good evening. Thanks, KP4MD, KN6QNJ. My pleasure.